Hello guys, I think we are live now. So in the previous live streams I've discussed about method overloading. Now we'll move on to constructors. So just a sec. Delay. So we'll just start with constructors. Uh, Constructor in Java is similar to a method that is invoked when an object of the class is created. So, unlike Java methods, a constructor has the same name as that of the class and does not have any return type. So, this is one of the important things you should know while when you are starting with constructor. So, it should have the same name as that of the class, and just like how we used to define the object. So, in this we should have the same name of the as that of the class, and it should not have any return type. So for example, we have this class name test, so constructor should also have the same as that of the class, and it should not have any return type. That means it should not return anything, just the body. It cannot return, it can only call other functions. So here test is a constructor, has the same name as that of the class and doesn't have any return type. Like it doesn't have return one, return two, or return name and all that. So wait, think I'll have to check. Yeah, let's continue. So let's continue. We'll be talking about, we'll just look at the examples which we have now. So this is a simple example with a Java constructor, class main, private string name. We'll just know why we are using this private in some few more points which we are going to discuss today. So we'll just define a constructor here. This is a constructor. How do we know this is a constructor? As it has the same name as the class. And then this is all the body of the constructor. And this is like it's printing this string. It's not returning anything. Returning is when you use return. It's a very it's very confusing when you see that uh, constructor it's returning. You will be like this is also returning constructor call, but it's not technically returning. Returning is when you use when you call the return. This is method call. You can say this is a method call, and this is like you are defining the variable name as program is. Okay, so this is the main method. I think my audio is all right. ज्यादा लाउड तो नहीं है ना? मैंने मतलब म्यूट कर रखा है. So hello. Hello, hello. Yeah. So let's continue with constructor. Let's continue with the output. So constructor called is the same as this, and with the main method, we first defined an object over here, and then we called this called this. Uh, what did we call? We called the variable which was inside the main method. I mean main constructor. So why do we make objects? It's for calling other variables which are inside the constructor. You can take it that way. So without object, it would be, it would not be quite possible to take this. This would cause error if you did not define object, right? So in the above example, we have created a constructor named main. Inside the constructor, we are initializing the value of name variable. Notice the statement creating an object of the main class. So obj main obj is equal to new main, and this is how we define an object. So here when the object is created, the main constructor is called and the value of the name variable is initialized. Hence the program prints the value of the name variable as program is. So types of constructors in Java are no arg constructor, parameterized constructor, and default constructor. No, these are the three types of constructors which we have. So let's read through the differences between them. So similar to methods, a Java constructor may or may not have any parameters or arguments. Uh, as I have discussed in my previous stream that these two terms are different. Let me give a recap of it. Parameters are the things which are used inside, where is it? So inside the bracket. So inside the bracket is parameter, and the thing which is I'll have to change the example. Wait, it's not in the slide. Where were we? Yeah, we were here. So yeah, so over here, this is a parameter over here, and these are arguments. So arguments go inside parameter, right? Let's continue with no arg constructors. So a private constructor, this is how we if let's read this. If a constructor does not have any parameter, it is known as a no argument constructor. For example, private constructor. So it doesn't have any argument. In this example, let's read this. Class main. This is how we define the class. This is int I variable. Constructor with no parameter is I think it's it doesn't have anything in the bracket, so it is no arg. If a constructor does not have any parameter, it is called a no argument constructor. So in this there is no parameter, so it's just no arg constructor. So I is equal to 5. Over here we define the variable. Now we are assigning the value, and this is the output which we are getting after calling out this main method. So over here we main constructor. I mean, how do we know again why is this a constructor? Because it's the same name as the class. This is the object to call the value which is inside. Yeah, this is the same example as above, but we just recap the whole thing. Any doubts? If you have, you can write it in the chat. So in the above example, we have created a constructor. I think there are no doubts in this, right? So we have created a constructor. So in the above example, we have just created a constructor main. Here the constructor does not have any accept any parameters, hence it's an OR constructor. We should have a quick note in this that we have declared the constructor as private. Why did we declare this as private? Because it cannot be accessed from outside the class, right? So by creating objects from outside the class is prohibited by using private constructors. Here we are creating the object inside the same class. As you can see, it's inside the class. So implement where is the Java implement private constructor? Oh, right. Let me open this in new tab. So let's have a deep understanding of this uh, of private constructors. To understand this example, you should have the knowledge of the following Java topics: Java constructors and Java singleton class. So currently we are studying Java constructors, so we should know this as well, right? Yeah, it's OOP. It's in OOP 3 part. So let's just get a quick recap for this. So Java program to create a private constructor. So class test, we have discussed this. Yeah, it's easy. Let's read this. So example one, Java program to create a private constructor. So class test, create private constructor. This is private constructor inside test. We have defined it private, or it's not important to make it private because over here, I think, yeah, in this also, yeah, but it's not compulsion that, see over here, there is no private. You just write it the way you want. This is just for convenience. Like if you want it's for some types of functions which we call which are inside the class, and we do not want the constructors which are outside the class. So we make the private thing. We define the private thing over here and make the test private. So system.out.println, this is a private constructor. And then we create a public static method. Uh, uh, this is public static void. We have created a method over here. We have created a constructor over here. So this is a void constructors, void method. So this would not return anything as this is void, and this is static. So the value which is getting in the output is throughout the program. So create an instance of the test class. So we created an object over here. As we know that test thing should be same as the class while creating the objects, number one rule. So let's go to the main class. Let's go to the other class. So this is another class which we have defined, and this is the main method, and this is the method call. So this is the name of the class, which we are going to call, and this is the, you know, the method which we are going to, which the method is going to get called. So the output would be, this is a private constructor. Because this is an object. Let's run this code. Yeah, so how is this code running? It would first define all this, then when it is the time for output, so this would go inside, where it would go inside this part, test dot instance method, because this is the method called, which is being called, and this is the object we are defining, and this object is is the same as this. I mean, this is, I think this is, oh, wait. I think, yeah. So this test is referring to this constructor, and this is referring to this method. So it would go inside this and it would print this. This is a private constructor, right? So let's, in the above example, we have created a private constructor of test class, yes. Hence, we cannot create an object of the test class outside the class. This is why we have created a public static method called instant method inside the class that is used to create an object of test class. And from this main class, we call the method using the class name. So let's get a more, you know, let's get a more insight of this uh, this this thing. Okay, so let's read another example. Java singleton design using a private constructor. Okay, so we haven't gone through singleton constructor till now. Let's just have a read through of this. The Java singleton design pattern ensures that there should be only one instance of a class, and to achieve this, we use a private constructor. So this is the class which we have defined. This is what is this? What is this? Write down in the chat if you know, guys. If you guys know. It's literally written over here. It's a public static variable of class type. So we have just created a variable of that, and then we have a private constructor. This is a constructor over right here. How is it a constructor? It has the same name as a class. And then this is the output or calling of the string. And then this is this public static method which we are defining over here. So this has return types. It's just a method which is going to get called below. Yeah, over here it's getting called. So create object if it's not already created. So I think we have created. Yeah, we are going to create it here. So if language is equal to null, then this is a if loop over here. So if language is equal to null, then language is equal to new language, right? So this language over here and this language are completely different. So this language is this language, right? And this language over here is this language. Okay, so I think you get, if it's, I think you get to know what, I think you are getting to know, getting what I'm saying, right? So public void display, this is, what is this? This is a method which is not returning anything. It's just printing this, right? And this is the, again, we defined another class over here, language, and now the main class, and public static void main string args, and then language db1, right? And then call the get instance method. We just do the method call dbh1 is equal to language dot get instance of this bracket, and then dbh1 dot display. This is the return type, right? So so this display over here is going to display the value, and this dot get instance would go to, where is get instance? Yeah, over here. So it would go inside this and would execute as mentioned. So the output would be like, first it would go, I think, do you know how to do a dry run? Do you guys know? And I think there is some website to do the dry run. I think this is, yeah, visualize execution. Let's see. I don't know about these websites. Never mind, let's just continue with the, we were over here, right? So no arc constructor, we just finished this. So no arc constructor, I'll just give a recap of this. So no arc constructor is a constructor which does not accept any parameters. So over here you can't see any parameter, right? So it's a no arc constructor. So let's continue with the main method. So notice we have declared the constructor as private, right? Right? See private, as you can see. Yeah, so creating object from outside the class is prohibited, and using the private constructor, here we are creating the object inside the same class. Hence the program is able to access the constructor. So however, if we want to create objects outside the class, then we need to declare the constructor as public and not private, because this is, as I mentioned earlier, this public, wait, where is it? This is private, so this won't affect the other, like it won't affect if there is another class, right? Over here there's only one class. If there had been two classes, this would cause a big problem if we did not use the private thing. Let's continue further. So example of Java public with no Java public no args constructor. So this over here we are using public instead of private, and uh, over here there are no parameters, so it's a no arg. No arg basically means no arguments, right? So class company, this is how we define a class. String name, defining variable, then public constructor, this is the constructor right here, and name is equal to program is, and we assigned the name of this variable, we assigned it. Then we go to the main class, another class, it's over here. So as we made this public, so it would be reflecting over here also. Let's see whether it is reflecting or not. So public static void main string args, this is the main method, and then public is created in another class like object is created in another class right over here, right? So this object is created, so we create an object over here. The name of the company, like name of the class which we want to create should not be of this, it should be of this, because this should be an object of another class, right? And to get that variable, we need to make a object of another class, and then we fetch that, you know, variable from the object which we have created here. So company name is equal to, then we obj.name. This is obj, this is object, and name is this variable, right? So output is company name is equal to program is. This object went to the above class and fetched the variable, you can say, and the variable is this, and it came inside this, and the output is in front of you guys. If you guys want to, if you guys think this is difficult, you can just write it in the chat if you have any doubt. Yeah, so let's continue with Java parameterized constructor. So a Java constructor can also accept one or more parameters. Such constructors are known as parameterized constructors. Constructors with parameters, simply you can say that. Like we first created methods with parameters, now we are creating constructors with parameters. So the first example is parameterized constructor is this class main, yeah, string languages variable, then constructor accepting single value. See, this is the constructor right here, and this is the constructor right here, and this is the parameter. This constructor has one parameter in it. So this languages is equal to lang. This lang is not a string which you are assuming. If it had been a string, it would be in the this symbol, double, what do you call it? This symbol, this thing, right? So it is not in this thing. So parenthesis, I think it is called parenthesis, right? So let's continue. So it had been in that, so it's not in that, so it's not a string. So yeah, let's continue. So system.out.println languages plus and programming language. So then we do the main method call, and then we call constructor by passing a single value. So we create 3 objects, right? And these objects, main obj1 is equal to new main. These objects go in this constructor. So Java first goes inside this. These are basically arguments. You get it? You can write it in the chat if you don't get it. I can explain again. So these arguments go inside this parameter, and this parameter goes inside this lang because they are same. So first it goes inside, and this Java gets inside languages, right? So languages is equal to Java, then Java plus programming language, right? Then it goes, then Python goes in. Python goes inside the constructor, then language is equal to Python, because lang over here is the same as the parameter, right? Lang is the parameter over here. So this argument is inside this, and then languages is equal to Python. So Python plus means, languages plus means Python programming language. So then C goes in similarly, and similar output. So Java programming language, Python programming language, and C programming language, right? This is a very good example to illustrate the thing which is occurring over here. So in the above example, we have created a constructor named main, and here the constructor takes a single parameter. Notice the expression main obj1 is equal to new main Java, right? So here we are passing this value, single value to the constructor. If there had been 2 values, there would be a problem. So Based on the argument passed, the language variable is initialized inside the constructor. So let's continue with the Java default constructor. So if we do not create any constructor in Java, so the Java compiler automatically creates a no R constructor during the execution of the program. This constructor is called the default constructor. So let's look at default constructor. So these two were very easy as compared to what is coming next or not. Let's see. So Java default constructor. If we do not create any constructor, the Java compiler automatically creates a no R constructor during the execution of the program. This constructor is called default constructor. So let's see what exactly is default constructor. So we created a class int variable and then boolean b, then public static void main string args, and then we created we called calls default constructor. So to call default constructor, this is how we do it. This main obj is equal to new main. This is basically object. This is, I think this is how we create an object, right? So system.out.println default value, system.out sopln, sopln, okay? So it's calling object first, this object first, then this A object first, then B object first, right? So similarly, A is 0 by default and B is false. You should know that Boolean is false by default. You would be having a problem while searching the constructor right now because there is no constructor over here. Yeah, it's not a error, printing error. It's just that there is no constructor. That's why it's called a default constructor. So it basically assumes that you are just calling the constructor, right? And this object is going inside the main constructor imaginary, which you guys would be having difficulty right now while thinking where is the default constructor. So if you say this is main, it's same as a class name, and as you guys would remember, the constructor name should be also the same as the class's name. So this is why there is no default constructor and just we can call it as it is. So yeah. So first we call we call object A obj.a. So A is getting printed, then B is getting printed. Yeah. So I think there are no doubts in this. Are there? You can just write it in the chat. So we haven't created any constructor. It's not difficult because we did not create any constructor. It's not confusing. So hence the Java compiler automatically creates the default constructor. So the default constructor initializes any uninitialized instance variable with default values. Yeah. So Boolean, yeah, you should know this. This is very easy. You should know this. So Boolean is false, all rest are 0, and object is null. Right? Just have a look. You guys can take a screenshot if you want. Object has null reference null, right? So let's continue. So in the above program, the variables a and b are initialized with default values 0 and false respectively. So the above program is equivalent to, yeah, this is another way of representing int a boolean b same as the above, and this is main. This is a constructor over here which we had not been defined in the above scenario. Over here there was no main constructor over there. Then a is equal to b 0, b is equal to false, and then main method call, and then this is the same thing as above, right? It's very satisfying to see that we created an object, then this object is going inside and calling out the main, like main obj is going inside this, and then A is getting called out and out. Yeah, let's continue. So important notes on Java constructors. So constructors are invoked implicitly when you instantiate objects. So the two rules for creating a constructor are the name of the constructor should be the same as that of the class, and a Java constructor must have a return type. Yeah, these are the two rules. I think while while coding, you would often tend to forget one of these. Yeah, so let's continue. So just have a look at it again. It should not have any return type and it should be same as the name as the class. As simple as that. Okay, so if a class does not have a constructor, the Java compiler automatically it's quite confusing that you would be like, does constructor have a return type or does it not have? It's at some point you would get confused. Yeah, but all of you guys would not get confused, but it's common. It's okay to be confused in this. So if a class doesn't have a constructor, the Java compiler automatically creates a default constructor during runtime, right? So if the class doesn't have a constructor, the Java compiler automatically creates a default constructor. We read this. Uh, the default constructor initialize instance variables with default values. For example, the int variable will be initialized to 0. let's read about let's recap of what we have learned. So we have learned no constructor, parameterized constructor, and default constructor. So a constructor cannot be abstract or static or final. Yeah, this is a important thing. And a constructor can be overloaded but cannot be overridden. Let's see what this sentence means. What is the meaning of? So this means, wait. So think of a constructor like a special setup function that runs when you create a new object, like setting up a new fold. So overloaded means many ways of building the same thing, right? But overridden means trying to replace the parent constructor, which is impossible. So this is overloaded is basically innovation and overridden is basically copying or replace. You are just trying to make the same thing and trying to replace it. So that's the main difference between each through. So overloading is same class can have many constructors, but overriding is child class and cannot replace its parent constructor. So similar to Java method overloading, we can also create two or more constructors with different parameters. This is called constructor overloading. So let's see what is constructor overloading. We already discussed what is method overloading. So let's see what is Java constructor overloading. So class main, string language, constructor with no parameter, main. This is a constructor. This is this dot language Java. Don't worry about what this is over here. We'll just get to know constructor with single parameter. So this is again another method. I mean another object because it's the same name as the class. It's very good to know that is the same thing, or guys would not know what is difference between method and constructor. And so this is the major thing that differentiates them. So this dot language is equal to language. Then we get public void get name. Void over here means it doesn't have any return type. Get name. This what is this? This is not a constructor. This is a method. So system.out.println, programming language, and then this is what we get in the output, and this is the main method. This is public, so it would be throughout all classes, but luckily there is only one class over here. And then this call constructor with no parameter. So this is calling of the constructor. Which constructor? This or this? This or this? First, this constructor or this constructor? Write it in the chat if you know. This does not have any parameter inside this, so it would go inside the first one, right? I think you are getting it. So yeah, so now call constructor with single parameter, and this object too would go inside this 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 what do we call this constructor. So this thing would go inside this thing, right? And then obj1 dot get name, obj2 dot get name. So this is the first object, this is the second object. This goes inside the first thing, which is Java, and then this thing goes inside this thing. Where is it? This thing. Where is it? Yeah, over here. This thing, which is Python. All right, and this dot language is equal to language. So wherever this dot language is coming, like over here it is coming, so it is equal to the language, which is over here. With this is Java, so Java is getting printed. Over here, the language, this dot language is getting replaced by language over here, which is Python, which is going inside this, right? As simple as that. So if we run it, it goes through this and goes in this, and this one goes in this part. In the above example, we have two constructors, main and main string value. Here, both constructor initialize the value of the variable language with different values. I think you are getting what I'm saying, right? Yeah, so no doubts, let's continue. Here, both the constructor initialize the value of the variable language with different values. Based on the parameter passed during the object creation, different constructors are called and different values are assigned. And then it is also possible to call one of the constructor from another constructor. Yeah, yeah, this point you should know. So based on parameter passed during object creation, different constructors are called and different values are assigned. It is also possible that to call one constructor from another constructor. So it is possible that inside one constructor you are calling another constructor. It's quite possible in this, in Java or any programming language, I think. So Java static keyword. So what is Java static keyword? In Java, if you want to access class members, we must create an instance of a class, but there will be situations where we want to access class members without creating any variables. So in those situations, what we do is we use the static keyword in Java, if we want to access class members without creating an instance of the class. And we need to declare the class, we need to declare it static, right? So the main class in Java has almost all the members static, so we can access its members without creating instance of math class. Let's look at the example over here. So I think this is this all these things, big text. It's very, you know, it's very, into like difficult to understand. Let's look at the example. It clears everything up. So let's look at the example. Class main, we defined it public, and then public main method, and accessing the methods of math class, system.out.println absolute value of -12 plus mat.abs -12, public system.out.println value of pi, mat.pi, system.out.println value of e, math.e. These are all inbuilt functions. You need not to worry about these. And this is absolute value function. If this is also wherever mat comes, this is library which is already existing and downloaded in the Java. It's inbuilt. The Java knows all these things, how to perform these calculations. So this is mat.pow to 2 power 2. So it's 4, right? So all these values get printed. It's very easy. Yeah. So in the above example, we have not created any instances of the maths class, but we are able to access its method. So we did not create an instance of math class, but we are able to still access its method. So it is possible because the method and variables are in the math class are static. Like we use static over here, right? So yeah, static method. So static methods are also called class methods. It is because the static method, oh, this is very good line. Static method and class methods are the same thing. You should know it. It is because why is it that they are the same thing? It's because a static method belongs to the class rather than the object of the class, and we can invoke static methods directly using the class name. So for example, class test, class's name, in static method inside the test class, public static void. Why is it public static void? It is not returning anything. This is the body, and then class main. This is static method inside the test class, right? You can see static, and this is test class, and this is invoking the static method. So test dot method, right? Test class's name and method, the method which is getting called. So here we can see that the static method can be accessed directly from other classes using the class's name. Because this is static, it would remain throughout. This is one of the advantages of using static. Other classes are able to access it by using without creating an object of this class, right? So in every Java program, uh, we have declared the main method as static. Is because to run the program, the JVM should be able to invoke the main method during the initial phase while no objects exist in the memory. So example 1, Java static and non-static methods. Class static method, static test. Oh my God, static test, and then non-static method, and then int multiply, int a and int b, then return a multiplied by b. This is, what is this? What is this? This is not a constructor, this is a method. Why is it a method and not constructor? Because it's the name of the class is not same as the object. So yeah, it's a method, and same as I'm sorry, it's the name of the class is not same as the constructor or the method. This is the method, right? So static method, what is static method? Static int add, this is another method which you are adding. So this is simply a non-static. Over here, another method, but we added static over here. So both have two what do you call parameters in them, and this is different because we want to check whether what we are running will give the multiplication or the addition. So public slash main, whether this is just to check the use of static. Like when we do lab test, we generally make take a test tube and keep it like, what do we call it? Keep it for, you know, neutral, which acts as neutral. I don't know the exact term which we call it. So it's just for checking what will happen if you use the static thing, right? So public static main, and then public static void main string args. Then we create an instance of this class. So yeah, this is called an instance, not an object. Yeah, I I think, yeah. So we created an instance of this static test class, and then what did we do? Yeah, I think instance and objects are one of this almost the same thing. Yeah, I just checked that. So it's written that in context of OOP, the term object and instance are often used interchangeably and refer to the same concept. Both describe a concept realization of a class. So I think that would suggest that they both are the same, or the lead to the same concept. So call the non-static as non-static method. We call the non-static method over here st.multiply. It goes in the non-static part, and this is the static method which goes in the static part. Non-static part, static, right? So 2 into 2 goes inside st.multiply. It goes inside this, and this would go inside this. So what is the use of static over here? You guys can have a look at it and just know what is the use of static over here. I think you guys got it till now. So I'll just tell you. So static test over here is the same name as the class, right? And the difference you would see, this is the name of the object and not of the class. So if you use static, so the if you use static, it is default that it's like it would be the same throughout the program. So you don't need to create an object to call it. It would be, constant throughout. So static test class's name, and then we are going first we went in the class's name. From this class we jumped in this class, and then dot add. We after we went to the class, we found the method which we want to call, and then we put the arguments inside these parameters. And these parameters, when they were inside it, so they added this, and this 2 plus 3 is just the string which is getting output, and this is the integer which is getting the output. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, the below one, right? And the above part, non-static method, this is 2 into 2 is equal to, and this st.multiply, it is taking the object and telling it to go inside this int multiply, right? So it is because this is not static. So object goes inside 2 into 2, and so these arguments go inside these parameters, and this is what it returns, 2 into 2, and which is 4, return 4. So this 4 goes and puts output as 4. 2 plus 2, 2 into 2 is equal to 4, right? So in the above program, we have declared a non-static method name multiply and a static method name, where is it? Add inside the class, inside the class static test. So let's read about static variables. In Java, when we created objects of the class, then every object will have its own copy of all the variables of the Java class, right? For example, class test, regular variable, int age. This is just this is a regular variable int age. Then main class, create instance of the test. This is the first instance or the object first object. This is second instance or second object, right? So here both objects test1 and test2 will have separate copies. Yeah, this confirms that objects and instances are the same because instance and object test1 and test2, right? No more confusion now. Will have separate copies of the variable age and they are different from each other. So test1 and test2 will have separate copies. Yes, this is very important when it comes to arrays, because in arrays when you change, we'll just read arrays and you'll get to know why. So in this it is separate copies, but in arrays it's not quite the opposite, but we'll get to know that as well when we'll reach there. So however, if we declare a variable static, all objects of the class share the same static variable. It is because like static methods, static variables are also associated with the same class, and we won't need to create objects of the class to access the static variables. Let's see what this statement meant, right? So for example, class test, static int age, class main, and test.age. This code just started and ended. Class test, this is the class, this is another class. They just defined classes and integers. So why now this is very, you know, thing you should know that if the static is behind an integer, that means this value now cannot be changed. So class main acts as the static variable, test.age is equal to 20. So it goes inside this test, this as this class is over here. It goes inside this, and let's see here we can see that we are accessing the static variable from the other class using the class name. Yeah, we can see that it's using this class name and going inside and changing the value. Sorry. So let's see the example. Yeah, this is the example. This is the whole example which we are going through right now. So class test, right? And then static variable. This is a static variable. So now we have defined it 10. Now this max cannot be changed. It's 10 no matter what, because we defined static over here, right? And this is non-static variable int main is equal to 5. So public class main string args, then first object we created. Now we want to access the non-static variable. So system.println min plus 1. This is the output which we are getting. And this is obj.min. What is obj.min? What is it? Obj, this is the object, and it is going inside this. This is the test object. So this object is of the test class, right? So this object is already the object of this class. So where to go inside this? Now it is saying that go in the min part and add it by 1. So it goes inside the min part and adds it by 1. So it gets incremented by 1 and prints min plus 1 is equal to 6. over here. And in this static variable, max plus 1, test dot max, it's not, it's as this is static, right? So we need not to create an object, right? I showed you in the previous example. So as this is static, no need for the object, just call the class's name, then the name you wanted to, interfere with, and then increment it by 1. So then it goes inside this, straight away inside this, no need for the object, just goes inside this and then change it by 1. Yeah, the in our program we have declared a non-static variable named main and a static variable max inside the class test. So inside the main class, we can see that the we are calling the non-static variable using the object of the class. However, we are calling the static variable by using the class name, right? So here's a quick note. Static variables are rarely used in Java. Instead, the static comments are used. And these static constants are defined by static final keyword and represented in uppercase. So this is why some people prefer to use uppercase and static variables. Yeah, let's read this note very carefully. Static variables are rarely used in Java. Instead, the static constants are used. Oh, so these static constants are defined by static final keyword. This is something new. So these static constants are used with, I mean, the static constants are used instead of static variables in Java generally. So these static constants are defined by static final keyword. Oh, and represented in uppercase. So this is why some people refer to use uppercase for static variables as well. Access static variables and methods within the class. So when we are accessing the static variables from another class, uh, we have used the class name to access it. However, if we want to access the static member from inside the class, it can be accessed directly. So let's look at the example. Public class main, static variable, static int age, static word display, and this is the main method. So this is variable, static. This is also static, but this is a method. This is a variable, this is a method, right? Because it has a bracket in it and a void, which means it doesn't have any return type. And it's printing this. This is not returning, it's printing. Okay. And public static word main access the static variable. Over here we want to access the static part. So we just where is the static part? Yeah, so age is equal to 30. No need to call like create an object and call it, right? So as it is static, it would be known and not unknown in this main part, right? In main class. So this main class would be knowing what is this. Where is it? Yeah, this. Okay. So age we change the value to 30, and then system.out.println ages and plus age. So this plus age, what it does is it takes the value of age and 30, right? And this acts as the static method. This is just for accessing the static method. Where is it? Yeah, this is the static method. So display and it will print static method. So it's if you are listening to this, you would have some doubts, or if you are too smart, you would not have any doubt. So why I had one doubt, which while learning was quite difficult, like confusing for me. That why didn't we use over here? Why didn't we do main like main dot age and all that? Like over here we use right obj dot min. Like for int min we used obj dot min. So why didn't we use main dot age for this? If you know the answer, you can write it in the chat. So I'll just tell you why, I guess I'll just tell you. Okay, so age is plus age. So why did we write main dot age? It's because over here we defined another class. This is another class. So we needed to go inside that class first and then take the max part. But over here, there is no class, and there's only one class, and it's quite obvious. So the there would be no confusion in that, and it would just go inside this. It would just take the value from here and print the output. So let me let's continue with output. Output is over here, right here. We discussed. Here we are able to access the static variable and method directly without using the class name. It is because static variable and methods are by default public. And since we are accessing from the same class, we don't have to specify the class's name, right? Yeah, I just told you this thing. I thought it won't be written over here. So static blocks. In Java, static blocks are used to initialize the static variables. For example, class test, static variable. This is the static variable right here. This is static block right here. Age is equal to 23. All right. So here we can see that we have to use a static block using the syntax. Uh, this is what is this? What is this? This is called a static block, guys. This is a new thing which has come up now. Static block, right? So the static block is executed only when the class is loaded in memory. So the class is loaded if either the object of the class is requesting in code or the main static members are requested in codes in code. Hmm. So a class can have multiple static blocks, and each static block is executed in the same sequence in which they have written the program. So let's see the static block. Let me just read it. Yeah, so class main. I'm also not quite familiar with this, but while reading, we'll get to know that what it is. So class main, this is the best part about revising. You just, you know, get punched through into the wall, an imaginary wall, and then you just escape it. I don't know what that means, but all right. So class main, yeah, revising is just like going in the sky and falling back to the earth. Yeah, Superman. So class main, and then uh, static variables, static int A, static int B, static int max. So we defined three static integers, and let's see if there is another class. No, there isn't another class, so this would be available and no need to call main dot A, main dot B, or main dot max, right? So static blocks, this is one static block write up, another static block write up, and then static method over here. So this is static method void. You guys know what is void. It doesn't have any return type. For those who just skipped everything and came to this part, void is basically it doesn't have return all that, return A, return max, and all that. So it has system.out.println. So A is equal to plus A, system.out.println B, and then max. So now main method, and of course we call all the static methods. So this display goes in this, and plus A, where is A? It's over here, 23. Plus B, where is B? It's over here, but over here it's not, you know, it's not defined, it's 0 by default. So we use static blocks. We go to the static blocks then. So first static block is first. Oh, I'll just well, I'll just read it. Oh, in static, yeah, in Java, static blocks are used to initialize static variables. So over here, we initialize them. So before running this, right? Before going to this part, main class, this would get initialized. So how it would get initialized? First, this code is running, nothing is happening, nothing is happening. It goes to this part, and then it sees that static block is there. So let's define the variable this p. Okay, so it goes in this first static block. Okay, and it changes the value of b to 4 into a, which is 23, which is 96, I guess. 92. Okay, 92. Okay, so 92, and then max. Then I mean, then it goes inside this, and then it's going in, flowing in the, it's going in the flow. So another, it goes in another, and then it sees this, it prints this, and it changes the value of max to 30. Note over here that it's only changing the value and not printing anything. Not printing B, it's printing this. It's printing this and changing the value, not printing B. Over here, it's printing this and not printing max. Okay. So output would be like it's flowing, flowing, flowing. Then it prints this, then prints this, and changes the variable's value of B and max. And then when it is, and then this is skipped because it's not getting called over here. It gets called in the main method, so it gets skipped and goes inside display in this, and then display is called, it goes in this. Then system dot println a is equal to plus a, and plus a and plus b and plus 3, all three are defined from before, right? So this is how the code, dry run of the code. If you did not understand the dry run, I can explain again if you write it in the chat. So the above program, as soon as the main, I think you guys are smart, you would know what all this is. So in the above program, as soon as the main class is loaded, the value of a is set to 23, the first static block is executed, hence the string first static block is printed, and the value of b is set to int 4. The second value is max, which is set up to 30, and then print statements display are executed. If there had been no execution of this, let's see if you guys know or not, what would be the output? Oh, it's very easy, yeah. It's like, then it would print first static block and second static block. That's it. Yeah, because this method is not getting called. Getting it? Yeah, so let's continue. Nested static class. Oh, now we got to the nested static class. So in Java, we can declare a class inside another class. So such classes are known as nested classes. Like in if loop, if you define one more if loop, it's called nested if loop or nested loop. So in this, if a static class is defined and another class, so it's nested static class. Wow, amusing. In Java, we can declare a class inside another class. Such classes are known as a nested class. Nested class are of two types: static nested and non-static. Wow. So this is static nested and this is non-static nested. Let's see this. It's in OOP3. Okay. We'll just go in OOP2 now. No. Let's see what all is left. Oh my god, OOP1 is so big. Okay. Keyword we have discussed. Java strings. We have finally reached the strings part. Like this stream, if you guys are watching and with me. Java strings. So in Java, a string is a sequence of characters. For example, hello is a string containing a sequence of characters. What is it? HELLO. And then we use double quotes to represent a string in Java. For example, uh, we use double quotes to represent a string in Java. For example, this. Here we have created a string variable type named type. The variable is initialized with the string Java programming. And here's an example. Create a string in Java, then all this code. Wow, 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 wow. So class main method, create strings, first string, second string, third string, then printing strings, 1, 2, 3. It's very easy, right? I think it's very easy. This is the basic of coding, which I knew at day zero, or every one of us knew at day zero, that it's a good first day zero. I'll say day two max. Okay. So this is going inside this is going inside this is going inside this, and output. Yeah. So here we are directly creating strings like primitive types. This is just introduction of strings, so this all we should read it, but this is literally the basic of the basic. So we will learn about that later in this tutorial. There is another way of creating Java strings, yeah, using the new keyword. So node strings in Java are not primitive types like int char. Instead, all strings are objects of a predefined class named string. So all string variables are instances of the string class. So Java, let's read about Java string operations. So Java provides various string methods to perform different operations on strings. We will look into the commonly string operations. So length of a string. So this is one of the greatest uses of, like, I personally use this a lot. So to find the length of the string, we use length method. For example, class main, public static void main, class create a string greet, hello's world, and then string plus greet, and then get the length of the greet, and this, and then this. So let's see what is happening in our code. So first it's creating a string, which is greet, and storing this value. Then it's printing string, which is this value, which is stored. Okay. And then it goes in the length of the greet, right? And then when we have to fetch the length, we have to get the value length of the string. So what is the length of the string? 1. Let's see. Yeah, so 1 HELLO, that's 5. This is 6, right? There's a blank space, which is 7, 8, W, O, 9, R, 10, L, 11, and D, 12. So there are 12 you can say elements in this. So the the length of this string is 12. So it would print the length as 12. So I did not, this length is now, it's not how we get the length, it's this how we get the length. It's int length. This is the variable which we defined right here, and this is you can say prompt to get the length. So this is the greet, or the string you want to achieve the length of that. So we write the string after that to calculate the length. So this is basically 12, and then it goes inside the int length is equal to 12, and then it prints 12, right? So in above example, the length method calculates the total number of characters in the string and returns it. So let's continue with join two Java strings. we can join two strings in Java using the concat method. Okay, so let's look at that. Java join two Java strings. So we can join two strings in Java using the concat method. For example, class main, public static void main, and then string args, and then create first what is this string first is equal to Java system.out.println first string and then plus first, right? Then create a second string, printing second, join two strings. This is where the concat part comes. So what is concat? Concat is where you can join two strings. So if you want Java programming in one line, so that is how that is when you use the concat thing. So string join string, this is another string which we are defining, no confusion. You can just write string a is equal to, okay, and this is first dot concat, where what is first? This is first, right? This is the first string. It's saying first dot concat and then second inside it. So this is a rule that what is written first will come first, and which is inside the bracket would come second. Very easy, right? So join string is this string which we have saved as first Java and second programming, right? So Java programming is saved as another string, as we joined these two and I added them in another string, so which is join string, and then we printed it. Okay. So in above example, we have created two string name first and second. Notice the statement this. Here the concat method joins the second string to the first string and assigns it to the joint string variable. We can use this. We can also join these two strings using the plus operator. Yeah, we can, instead of using concat and all, we can just use the plus operator in Java. So compare two strings. In Java, we can make comparisons between two strings using the equals method. For example, again one more example. Let's read it. Class main method, create three strings, first string, second string, third string, compare first and second strings. Boolean result 1 is equal to first dot equals second. All right. Right. So first dot second. So Java programming. Oh, it's not. I thought it was concat. So it's not concat. It's dot equal. So first dot equals second. Is it equal? Is it equal? Just write it in the chat. Is it equal? Okay, so these two are equal. So result 1 would be true, right? So system.out.println strings first and second are equal, then plus result 1. Okay, and then compare first and third. This is Python over here, so they are not equal. I think that is clear, because it might look that this J is caps, but it's small. Even if it had been capital, then they would have been unequal. Yeah, unequal. Okay, then it would be false and false. So as Java is case sensitive, so yeah. So in our example, we have created three strings, first, second, and third. This is just use of equal thing, escape character in Java. So the escape character is used to escape some of the characters present inside the string. Suppose we need to include double quotes inside a string. This is string class. Since strings are represented by double quotes, the compiler will treat this as the string, hence the above code will cause an error. To solve this issue, we use the escape character in Java, which is this slant thing, you know. So now escape characters tell the compiler to escape double quotes and read the whole text. So it's you won't you would be like, why did we do this and what the hell is this? So just I'll just show you. So I'll tell you why is this. So in some in active passive voices which you would have learned in your ninth, I mean sixth or seventh grade. So it would you would be like, John said that, comma, and then invert the you know what is that thing called? Wait, the symbol parenthesis, quotation marks. Yeah, yeah, quotation marks. Why did I forget that? So John said that, comma, then quotation marks, and then you would be inside that. Uh, let's go in the park, for example. So that thing you want it inside the code. So how would you write that in the code? Okay, so let's see. Because if you write it this way, so if you write it, John said that, and then bracket, let's go have fun. Okay, so this is what you want. So you want this, but you want this, right? You want a double quote in this, right? So this would cause a error. Like it would be difficult for the code to know what do you mean while doing this. So we also want this in the output, this quotation marks. So what do we use? What do we do in this? So we use this backslash. So we use this over here and at the end of it, right? Now this won't cause any error. Wait, where is it? Yeah, so let's run it. Mm, oh, yeah. Oh, I did not write 3. It came 3. Yeah, so this is a private constructor. So let's take this, copy it, and write it over here. So let's see the output. Oh, print, I forgot to print it. System.out.println, and then what do we want? Example, right? Let's see how this goes. Just don't focus on this part, only this. Oh my God. Yeah, so John said, let's go have fun. So we needed these quotation marks, which was very difficult for us before knowing this thing, and now we know it. So it's quite easy now. Where were we? I think we were here. So this is how why we use this double quotes to read the whole text. Let's read to what are why Java strings are immutable. In Java strings are immutable. So this means we can create a string, we cannot change that to that string. This mutable is, I think it's a common term in biology, but yeah. So it means that once immutable means that once it is created, it cannot change, right? Mutable is basically slowly and gradually changing of something. Consider it that way. So it's immutable, so it can once it's created, it cannot change to any other thing. To understand this, we should consider an example. Yeah, of course. So create a string example, hello. So we have created a string variable named example. The variable holds the string hello. Now suppose we want to change the string. So add another string world to the previous string example, right? So example is equal to example dot concat world. So here we are using the concat method to add another string world to the previous string. So what we are doing here, we defined this, we created it, and then we are concatenating and adding the word, the word word. Okay. So it looks like we are able to change the value of the previous string. However, this is not true. Why is this not true? Why? Let's see what has happened here. Now let's see what happened inside the code. What is occurring, like what we are seeing superficially and what is literally happening inside it. So let's not just assume that this would be happening. Let's see what is going through inside the code. So JVM takes the first string hello. The virtual machine takes the first string hello, then creates a new string by adding world to the first string, and then it assigns the new string hello world to the example variable. Then the first string hello remains unchanged. All right. So what it does is it creates a new string by adding world to the first string, then assigns the new string hello world to the example variable. Okay. So the first string hello remains unchanged. So creating strings using the new keyword. So far we have created strings like primitive types in Java. Since strings in Java are objects, we can create strings using the new keyword as well. For example, create a new string using the new keyword. So string name is equal to new string Java string. So in the above example, we have created a string name using the new keyword. Here, when we create a new string object, the string constructor is invoked. So let's create Java strings using the new keyword. Yeah, this is another way to do it. So we say string name is equal to new string and then Java string and then print the string or Java string. So create string using literal versus new keyword. So why just not write it instead of using the new thing? Why to use a new thing if you can do it without it? So now that we know how strings are creating using Java literals and the new keyword, let's see what is the major difference between them, right? We want to know why we are using the new thing. So in Java, the JVM maintains a string pool to store all the strings inside the memory. The string pool helps in reusing the strings, right? So while creating strings using string literals, Java example, string example is equal to Java. So here we are directly providing the value of the string. Hence, the compiler first checks the string pool to see if the string is actually existing or not. Guys, stay hydrated. Drink drink water as much as you can. Right. So in Java, in Java, while creating, yeah, we reach this. So here we are directly providing the value of the string Java. Hence, the compiler first checks the string pool to see if the string already exists, right? So if the string already exists, what we do is the new string is not created. Instead, the new reference example points to the already existing Java, right? So if it doesn't exist, then a new string is created. So string example is equal to new string Java. So here the value of string is not directly provided, hence a new Java string is created even though Java is already present inside the memory pool. Methods of Java string. Besides those mentioned above, there are various string methods present inside Java. Here are some of those. Wait. Why did we use new thing? Did you guys know it? Can I continue? Yeah, so let's continue. So with methods of Java string, besides those mentioned above, there are various string methods present in Java. Here are some of the methods. Method contains, checks whether the string contains a substring. Oh, there are so many methods. Substring, join, replace all. These are all, you can't learn all these, but it's it's very handy if you keep these things with you, because you should know that, like, if you are coding and you would be like, I want to trim like white spaces and all that. So you should know that a function exists that can do all this, right? So you can Google them up, but you should know that this thing exists. You should be familiar. So before we wrap up, let's put to your knowledge. Oh, let's see. Write a function to check if a string is empty. If the string str is empty, return string is empty. Otherwise, return string isn't empty. For example, if str hello world, the expected output should be string isn't empty, right? What does it mean? Let's read it again. If a string is empty, if the string str is empty, return string is empty. The string is okay. For example, how will the string be empty? How? Yeah, so I hope this doesn't ask for premium. Damn. Run code premium. Wow. Why is it so difficult? Let's just I'll just tell you guys what to do. So well, you can try it if you have premium, or you know. I think I'll use some other IDE. Wait, let me use some other platform. Hmm. Yeah, let's not waste our time. Let's continue. I'll just save it. I'll just do it in the next stream, this question. Let me bookmark this. Solve it in next stream. All right. One. Yeah, so I'll just look for some websites and solve it. We'll solve it together in the next stream. So Java access modifiers. So what are access modifiers? In Java, access modifiers are used to set accessibility or visibility of classes, interfaces, variables, methods, constructors, Java data members, and the setter method. Okay, yes. So for example, class animal, public void method one, public private void method two. All right, considered. So in above example, we have declared two methods, method one and method two, right? Easy. Method one is public. You can see that. You know that. Method two is private. You know that. We also know that. So it can be accessed by other classes, method one, and this cannot be private as it is private. Only this class can know what this method is doing, what this guy is doing, right? Okay. So note the keyword public and private. So these are access modifiers. I was all constantly saying that when we'll get to the access modifiers part, then I'll explain you what is the difference between them. Yeah, we reached over here. So let's see what is the difference between them. They are also known as visibility modifiers. You cannot set the access modifiers of getter methods, right? So types of access modifiers are before you should know access modifiers, you should know what Java packages are. I think we know that. Let's see. Oh, it's in this. Okay, let's read this first. I think no, it's not important. It's not important at all. No, I think it's not important for this. There are four types of access modifiers in Java. Default. Oh, I think it is important. Yeah, it is. I take my words back. So Java package. Java package. Let's learn this. So a package is a simple container that groups related types. Okay. For example, like interfaces, classes, annotations, enumerations, and all that. So, for example, in core Java, the result set interfaces belongs to java.sql pattern package. Sorry. So the package contains all the related types and are needed for the SQL query and database connection. So if you want to use result interface in your code, just use the Java SQL package. For importing packages will be discussed later in the article. Yeah, we'll just read that also. So as mentioned earlier, packages are just containers for Java classes, interfaces, and so on. These packages will help you reserve the class namespace and create a maintainable code. So for example, you can find two date classes in Java. However, the rule of thumb, I mean the thumb rule in Java is one unique class name is allowed in a Java project. Okay, only one unique class name is required, right? What does it signify? You can find two data classes in Java. Okay. However, the thumb rule of Java is okay. So how did they manage to include two? Yeah. So right now you wrote that two classes are, you can find two classes, and then you are like only one is allowed. So how did you manage to do that? Right. So this is possible because of these two classes data. This is because these two date classes belong to the two different packages. So java.util.date, this is a normal date class that can be used anywhere, and this java.sql.date, this is SQL date used for the SQL query and such. Okay, I did not understand, but still, I think I got a bit taste of that. So based on which whether the package is defined by the user or not, packages are divided into two categories. So the first category is built-in package. Built-in packages are existing packages that come along with the JDK. For example, java.lang, java.util, java.io, etc. For example, import java.util.arraylist. Yeah, this arraylist is very good. So when we'll reach array, I'll just tell you the difference between these two arrays and arraylist. It's very, I'll just tell you right now. So arrays are basically you cannot expand them, and list is basically expandable, like you can add them. This is the major difference, but we'll talk about it. It's very good that we have array lists in Java, right? Yeah, I'm so excited to share with you guys, but let's continue. So class array, this is the class main method. Array list, this is how you define an array list. This is adding the three spaces which we had, 3 2 1, and then int. So this is the first place would be 3, second place would be 2, then third place would be 1. Yes, 3 to 1, right? So the array list belongs to the java.util package. To use it, we have to import the package first using the import statement. So import java.arraylist over here, right? So user defined packages. Java also allows you to create packages as per your need. These packages are called user defined packages. So how do you define a package in Java package? So to define a Java package, you need to use the keyword package. So package name, Java uses file name directories to store packages. Let's create a Java file inside another directory. For example, test Java. So now edit test.java file at the beginning of the file. That package statement as packaged com.test. So any class that is declared within the test directory belongs to the .com package. So com.package. So here's the code, right? This is the code package. So this is, I think, uh, let me open my, yeah, so I'll just show you guys. So, oh my God. So, so we use this, as you can see, these are the packages. So this package is for, what is this for? This is for belong, this is for showing, calling, like finding the directory and for making the program runnable, and so that the class's name and this name should match, so that there shouldn't be a problem in finding the main class's name, right? So here's the code, class test, then hello world. So here the test class now belongs to the com.test package, right? So if you made two classes and wrote com.test, like we created two classes, test1 and test2. So and we wrote package com dot test one. So the the software would know that we have to run test one, class test one. We have to save the file as test one, as this is the we are considering the main class, right? So this is how we differentiate between all the classes and the main class. So package naming convention is, package name must be unique. Class name also should be unique. I mean, they that's why we can differentiate between classes, right? So this is how we, uh, convenient way to do it. Company.com.company name, like I just showed you the ID, which, the software which I use. So it's like com company name, and there is no limitation on how many subdirectories you can create. So how to create a package in IntelliJ. So this is another software which is common, IntelliJ, right? So IntelliJ IDEA, this is how you create a package. Not important at all. Just if you want, if you are using this software, you can just see pop-up will appear. Then yeah, successfully created. Congrats. All right. So how to import packages in Java? Java is an import statement that allows you to import the entire package as earlier examples, or to use certain classes and interfaces defined in the package. So the general form of import class is import Java import package dot class. This is the general form of importing statements, and this is the example, right? So if you want to use class, or package, you can just fully qualified name, which includes full package. Yeah. So not important. Here's a You can just read out the example. So import java.util.date for importing dates. Okay. So the same task can be used by qualify. This can be done by this class, my class implement java.date, whichever you find convenient. Right? I find this one convenient. I don't know about you guys. So example, package and importing package. Suppose you have defined a package com.program is that contains a class helper. Then package.program is class public class helper, public static string get formatted dollar wow double value, and then return string dot format value. So this is a helper which we imported. Oh, so now this is this is a code, right? And we can we this is saved in the in your software. So wherever you need to use this helper class, so you can just call it like import. You can just import it. So that's what I think. What is it called? Uh, what is it called? It's a special term is for inheritance, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what is this called, but it's one of the properties in coding. Yeah, in Java. So you can import helper class and implementation class. So once you so this is how you see import. So program is dot helper. So this helper class got called imported in this. So one class got called imported in another class, and it's quite satisfying that it occurs and there is no error in this. And then yeah, so here the helper class is defined in com.program is package. The helper class is imported to different file. The file contains the user helper class, and then yeah, so in the import statement is written directly after the package statement if it exists, right? So import package dot last name, like over here. Yeah, so we have gone through this and let's continue about access modifiers now. I said to read this, now we know what is Java packages. So access modifiers are of four types. Yeah, I think now it makes sense why they told us to read that first. So there are four access modifiers in Java. They are default, declarations are visible only when the package are private. Private declarations are visible only within the classes only, and protected declarations are visible within the package or all subclasses. Public declarations are visible everywhere. So let's let's start with default. I think after this keywords and final keyword, we'll do it in the next stream. Okay. So just like the stream, if you are watching this right now, like the stream. If you guys are, if that's okay to you, can just like the stream. Okay. So let's continue. Types of access modifiers. Oh, I got a like now. Thank you to whoever liked the stream. Oh, it was me only. Anyways, so default access modifier. So if we do not explicitly specify any access modifiers for classes, methods, Java variables, then by default the Java default access modifier is considered. For example, package, default package, class logger, then void message, system dot println. This is a message, and then here the logger class has the default access modifier, and the class is visible to all the classes that belong to the default package. So, however, if we try to use a logger class in another class outside the default package, we get a compilation error. Okay, and then let me do a poll. Let me try some polls. So, do you guys enjoy study sessions, or would you prefer coding together? This is great. I prefer coding instead of this. Yeah, so just I just started a poll. You guys can vote. All right. So after this, I would end my stream. So private access modifiers, when variables and methods are declared private, they cannot be accessed outside the class. It is there anyone watching? Yeah, two are watching right now. So, anyways, gaming and coding. Let's go. So here the logger class has a default package. So private access modifiers, when variables and methods are declared private, they cannot be accessed outside of the class. For example, class data, public class main. So what does it mean? Private. So this is private. Now this cannot be accessed outside. It's confidential for this to get breached, right? So in the above example, we have declared a private this name and we run the program and we get the following error because we are just reading this data class and just telling just show us the name. It won't because it's private. Why will it? It would show error, right? Although we created an object, right? But it is private. Private is private. We can't do anything. If the class had been private and this had been public and we created an object, then we could have done it. But the variable instead of that variable only is private, so we can't do anything. It would show an error. So I'm just ending this poll. So let's continue. Uh, so in the above example, we have a private variable name, and in order to access the variable from outer class, we have to use get name and set name. These methods are called getter and setter in Java. Yeah. Now we are getting to the getter and setter part. So we have private variable name, right? See, where is it? This, where is it? Yeah, name private. Okay. So in order to access the variable from outer class, we have to use method get name and set name. So these are getters and setters in Java. We have used the setter method in set name to assign the. Oh, wait. You might be wondering what if we need to access those private variables. In this case, we can use the getters and method. Oh, I think we have used it over here. Yeah. So this is when the getter and setters can come in place. Wait. So the error, yeah. So let's look at getter and setter methods. So class data, private string name, getter method. This is how you get use the get. Okay, public string get name and then return dot this name this dot name. This is setter set name. Okay, this dot name is equal to name. Okay, this is how you set it. This you should know that over here we used void, so it's not returning any value, it's just modifying. Over here we did not use any void, so this can return because there is no void, right? And let's, yeah, so public string get name and then return this dot name and set name. This string name is going inside and getting modified to by this dot name, right? So this value is going inside this and then the output is. So what is actually happening in the code? It goes in the main method, then new in this object data is the same as the class. This is the name of the object, and then access the private variable using getter and setter. D dot set name. This is the object, and dot set name is this, right? And program is, and the name is, so system.out.println d dot get name. So it goes inside getter. How is the name is coming? How is it coming? It's not written in the program. Is it? Let's run this. Yeah, exactly. So the output over here is this is wrong. The name is not there in the output, like you can see. It's just program is. This is wrong. This shouldn't be here, but never mind. So system.out.println. Let's see. Let's look at this very carefully, right? This is one of the important things, very confusing sometimes. Yeah, so we created class, then private string name. And this is where blunder happens. And now we want to clear this blunder. To instead of removing this private, what we do is we make getter and setter method. So this is a getter method, get name, and this is a setter method, set name. So this dot name is equal to this dot name is equal to name, and this is return this dot name for getting the value, right? And then access the private variable using the getter and setter d dot get set name. So what it does is this object goes inside the set name over here, and this program is an argument which goes inside this parameter, and then this parameter takes the value, and this, where is it, this dot name gets name, then the value of name becomes equal to program is. Okay, right? So this is how we do it. This dot name, remember this dot, use this dot. Where is it? Yeah, we have to use this keyword set name, okay, to refer to the variable of the class. To learn more, let's learn more. Yeah, but let's read everything. So, and then d dot get name. So it changed the value first, and then we want to show it in the output. So d dot get name and return this dot name, which is program is. So only program is will be output, nothing else. And then let's click on this link, Java. Oh, this is what we are going to study in the next stream, right? Now let's let's see what this keyword would be. Java, this keyword is in the next stream, right? Now let's look at protected access modifier. Oh, let's look at the node. I totally forgot about the node. So we cannot declare classes and interfaces private in Java, right? We cannot. We cannot. Just read it. We cannot declare classes and interfaces private in Java. However, the nested classes can be declared private. Yeah, so let's learn more. It's in OOP, right? OOP3. Okay, we'll just go through that in, I think, tomorrow or day after tomorrow in 2, 3 streams. I'll just do 2 streams a day just to finish everything, right? So protected access modifiers. So when methods and Java methods are declared protected, we can access them within the same package as well from subclasses. For example, class animal, protected method, protected void display, system.out.println, I'm an animal. Class dog extends animal. Wow. How long is it? Oh, it's almost over. Yeah, so wait. Are you guys enjoying? Let let's let's stay hydrated. You guys can have some water while I do the same. So protected access modifiers. Let's see what this is. Mm, let's so class animal protected method protected void display. Oh, there's a new thing now, which is protected void and protected thing, right? So protected access modifier. So what will this thing do now? Before we had what we had private access modifier. Now we have protected, right? Where is it? Over here. So system.println I'm an animal. And then class dog extends animal. Now we have extends public static void main method created a object same as that of the class dog is equal to new dog. So dog is of this object and not of this. You should remember that. And this extends animal. Dog extends animal. So access protected method. So dog dot display. Okay. Now what we have just seen is if this class is an extension of this class, right? Then only this is this like it's like a key. So if the class is an extension of the main class of the class we want to open, it's like this is like the lock, and this is one of the keys. So if this key extends to this lock, so then only the protected method is going to run. So it's going inside this because it's an extension of the animal, right? Dog extends the animal, so it would go inside this, open the lock, and then this would get printed, right? Very interesting. So in the above example, we have this is inheritance. Okay. So in our example, we have protected method display inside animal class. Animal class is inherited by dog class. How is it inherited by the dog class? By using extends animal, right? Extends thing. Okay. So let's look at this OOP3, OOP2. So we are very close to OOP2 now. I think, yeah. See, we are very close. Only four left. Yeah. So although, where were we? Yeah. So we then created an object dog of the dog class. Using the object we try to access the protected method of the parent class. So since protected methods can be accessed during the child classes, we are able to access the method of animal class from the dog class. So note over here, we cannot declare classes or interfaces protected in Java. Right. We cannot declare classes or interfaces protected in Java. Just read again. We cannot declare classes or interfaces in protected in Java. What does this mean? Like we just protected the method. The same way we cannot write protected class animal. You just show up and write protected class animal. That's not possible. Okay. So we cannot declare classes or interfaces. Okay. Only methods. Okay. And then public access modifiers. Yeah, just finished. Okay. So public access modifiers, when method, variables, classes, and so on are declared public, then we can access them from anywhere. So the public access modifier has no scope restriction. So for example, animal.java file, this is all comments. So public class animal, then public int, this is public variable, and then public method, this is output, this is output. Leg count, what is leg count? I also don't know what it is. It's just this public variable. All right, so now we want to know what this is. We'll just get to know later. Like over here, just wait, and we go in the main class. All right, so public static void main, then accessing the public class, we make a object of which this class, right? Animal class. So animal is equal to new animal. This is the object. Animal is the object. This is the class, and then accessing the public variable, which is animal dot leg count is equal to 4. So animal, where is it? Animal dot leg count, this thing is equal to 4, and then accessing the public method, animal dot display, then this this right. I think A should be capital. Let's run this code. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, this A should be capital. Oh, I'm getting. Oh no. Now it has more errors. What error did it have first? Class animal is public, should be declared in a file named animal. Oh, main.java. Wow. Now we can't. Wait, let's do this main. Right. So let's see. Oh, now we just change main every. Oh no. No. This should be working. This should have been worked. Why is it the public class? Oh, they have two public class. Yeah. So the public class animal is accessed from the main class. The public variable like count is. Why do they write the code wrong? This code is literally not running. Why? Class animal is public should be declared in a file named animal.java. Oh, there should be two different files. Okay. Right. So here the public class animal is accessed from the main class. The public variable leg count is accessed from the main class. Public method display is accessed from the main class. So access modifiers, these are the access modifiers. Oh, this is very good image. Let's save it. Let's do it later. So access modifiers are mainly used for encapsulation. So I'll just show you what this is. Protected, private, public, default. So pub default inherits child class inside same package, and protected also, and this child class inside same folder but different packages, and this can public can be accessed from anywhere. Okay, so access modifiers are mainly used for encapsulation. It can help us control what part of a program can access the members of a class so that misuse of data can be prevented simply. So to learn more, we can read about encapsulation. Thank you guys for listening to or just staying in my stream for so long. You guys are heroes. Thank you for watching my stream. I'm just ending it here. Bye bye. Take care, guys.